but it's not about them. They didn't show up.
And are you the team leader for
Venture. Well, one of them. So Antonio, the founder, Keller Williams, him and Aaron Hines, sold it to create Admin Group. And then that became Venture Philly. And I was like, I think second or third in Venture Philly.
Okay.
And since then, partner, team leader, from the mentorship stuff.
Used to be part of KW Philadelphia.
Yeah. Venture was KW Philadelphia completely. Obviously, we're all one big empowered
And
family.
for you to have it with the Philly before, you just.
We were Philadelphia, so specifically Philadelphia, it was nice. I mean, perks of Antonio being the one that runs your team was kind of like, hey, I'm selling a brokerage, making this team. Unique commission structure. I don't think they make any on us, but hey, that's their problem. Cool. Well, so again, I'm really happy this is kind of a smaller group. Not many slides. They're much more, how we define winning, I think is kind of where the true success comes from. So it's called negotiation tactics to win the deal. Obviously, you can just go line by line in agreement of sale, point out all the little things you do on a contract. But I don't think that's the essence of how we make our time valuable today. I think it's about identifying, much like your clients, but identifying what's a win for your buyer, what's a win for your seller, what's a win for the buyer's agent, what's a win for the listing agent. Obviously, there's a lot of little things you can do. Each deal is unique, but at the end of the day, right? If you're looking for win-win situations, which is ideally how you do business, if you put yourself in a position of understanding what's a win for the buyer and seller, particularly, when you get to a point where you don't get the offer accepted, but your client, losing the client is much worse than losing the property. So if you put yourself in a winning situation with the buyers okay with walking away, you fully prepare them for what their best case scenario is, and put your best foot forward. Doesn't necessarily mean throw a bunch of money at a property. That's what makes it win. If winning the deal is all that matters, of course, throw double that full money on the porch and call it a day. So we'll just kind of go one by one real quick and kind of draw it back together. And then at the end, we're going to go through some just general tips. I wasn't prepared for experienced agents, new agents, so kind of just wanted to go over a quick summary. But the first one, I think it's handing me a clicker and expect me to go. Okay, cool. So what's a win for the buyer agent? So I guess we can use it like generally, but let's just pretend like you're the buyer agent, right? What's a win for you? Obviously, this is a job. As fiduciary and altruistic as you'd like to be, this is a career path and business you're going for yourself. So at the end of the day, I'm putting in an offer. Part of that win is my client's excited about it. And the root of a lot of my business, and I think how agents should carry themselves, is at the end of the day, if your client is putting in an offer that they're excited the seller says yes to, that is a win situation. A lot of people kind of go for deal chasing and they're willing to just say, hey, it's 2 days on market. Why not just go 10% below asking price, see what they say. But a large part about winning deals, not just on that deal, but actually creating a connection with that listing agent, because there's a very good chance, especially if they're a listing agent, they've been in the business a little bit, maybe they have other opportunities for you. It falls on your communication with that listing agent and vice versa a lot of time. So, for example, when I'm doing open houses, I try to do 4 every single weekend. One thing that I kind of learned helps with when I'm putting in offers on this is for have agents call it bring offers on listings. So actually, agents that I've called up and said, hey, I'd love to host an open house for you. Even if they're not in brokerage, I think that's technically frowned upon. Just kidding, people. I want nervous. But at the end of the day, right, it's communication, but it's not just overly communicating how to use every step of the way. Our job is to be problem solvers. So if I put an offer in that's a demo to another agent, right, that's kind of where the winning mentality comes from. Some deals you're going to just get beat. If you brought cash, you couldn't. But if I'm bringing an identical offer, how is mine going to be looking better? Well, I've posted on agents events. Give them a heads up. It was coming soon for a week. I let them know exactly why my client wants it. Sure, you can BS it a little bit just to kind of make sure you get your foot in the door. But at the end of the day, right, you do want them to kind of get excited about your buying. That comes from the win for you as a buyer agent. Well, I'm working with the lender, the lender that I trust to make that connection with my lead and not only get them excited about the numbers, but also get the listing agent excited for how the numbers look. I want my lenders communicating and selling my clients and why this deal, sure, it's only 3% down, sure, it's 5% down. Yeah, you got another offer that's same exact offer price, but 20% down. We want to pitch the idea that we can't do 20%, but here's why 5% is just as good as that. Again, sometimes you're gonna win some, you're lose some. A lot of this business is out of your control, but what's in your control is making damn sure that if you're here with your offer and someone else is here, yours is still standing out, even if it's completely empty. So win for a buyer agent is you're working with your team, you're able to have your team communicate with the listing side, everyone's on the same page, the deal looks clean cut. I'm not saying a complicated deal is better than a straightforward deal. At the end of the day, it's our job to handle whatever the hell comes our way, what's standing the way between our client and the home they want. So when I'm putting in an offer, what I'm excited about is my lead is working with my team because they trust them and we've kind of vetted that process for them. We're able to communicate not just between me and my lead, but we already have kind of gotten a head start, especially if the property just came to market, it's been sitting for a while, whatever. I want to get ahead of the game, and the listing agent is communicating with me. I think that puts me in a really good position to win the deal. And ultimately, working with a cash buyer who wins all contingencies that's in, but out of our control. So focus on the things that you can do to stand out. Communicating with the listing agent, communicating with your team, making sure everyone's on the same page. Sounds really easy, but at the end of the day, it takes some hard work to consistently do that and build a database of listing agents that know who the hell you are and know that you're actually working in the business. Any questions? And I actually would like to kind of hear from the room a little bit. What's a situation where a deal for you felt like this is a slam dunk, or you did something that stood out that won you the deal? Any multi-offer wins in the room?
This is part of the bottom. I had read a letter.
Yeah.
The letter one.
Letter one?
Yeah.
And was it like heavy pathos, or was it just short, concise? Like, how was it structured for them to be?
It was for the seller.
Yeah.
So
Or the listing agent too? No.
yeah, so it was for both. I mean, just to keep it very brief, she has a special needs child. And I think we went out and looked, and this was in the burbs. So we went out and looked at tons of places, and we were getting more. Finally, we went to one. She really liked it. I knew there'd be multiple offers. I was in contact with the listing agent. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah, 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 blah. But then I said, would you mind writing a letter? Just be very heartfelt. And she did it. And I got a call from the agent. We're accepting an offer. And
Was it even the highest and best?
I don't know, I don't give a fuck.
That's
Like, I don't care at all. We weighed everything, blah, 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 what you had to do to win. I still don't know if we submitted the best offer, but like, the letter really won them over. And not only that, the sellers and my buyer became friendly because of the letter.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so it was kind of just like, is that frowned upon? Is that should we not have done that? Don't know.
I mean, to that point, and we'll get to your story. You won because you're in a position to win because the other agent was able to give you kind of communication and access to that seller, or do you think it was directed at the listing agent to maybe pass along, or was the listing agent communicating with you and it was like, hey, we're doing everything?
Combo. Yeah, so I know she passed the letter along to the seller, and the sellers were really taken by it, and we're gonna say.
How you?
So that was just one instance of like, that felt really, really good, because again, I had spent a lot of time with her and drove far to, you know, fine or something. And, one, she was happy, I was happy.
Oh, yeah.
And there was huge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's also like to your point about, you gotta establish a relationship with the agent, you know?
That's the root of all.
It's- yeah.
They're not your enemy. It's
Yeah.
work with them.
Right, and not every single time it's gonna be, you know, roses, it's just not, you know, it's a lot of times it's very, very difficult, and they make it difficult for no reason whatsoever, other than they're just pain in the ass to work with, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
But fair
Did
enough.
you have a relationship with the listing agent before this transaction?
The one with the letter?
Yeah.
No, it was in, Lancaster. I don't know, I don't do business up there at all, she didn't know me, she, Philly agent, whatever, but like, I called her, established a relationship, and we got it done. Now, I will throw this at you guys, this was like very early on in my career, you know, I got into real estate, we had to jump into real estate, you know, 302 versus 101. So we waived everything, but I still tried to schedule an inspection.
Right.
And she was like, you can't do that. And I was like, what? She's like, I thought, and so, long story short, like, had the brokerages involved and she waived inspections. You cannot have an inspection until the closing is done. So I had to learn that time.
Lesson learned. That's a win still.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna be using win a lot. I think Tori made me capitalize win on this line.
Yeah.
You won that for your clients.
Yeah.
Your idea, your thoughts, your communication, you won that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if you boil it down, you know, winning as a buyer agent is, again, whatever you can do to stand out with identical offer. Yeah, duffel bag full of cash, crazy complex FHA financing, like the cash is most likely. But if you're in a position where your offer just stands out because of what you're doing and what you've put yourself in a position to do, that's being a really good agent. That's what that's called. Sorry, this one.
I was just gonna add, because that was a great story, man. There's a couple things I wanna add to his story. Number one is, I was actually gonna submit a pretty strong offer, but I was told about the other thing, like it's, not really, I don't know if legal is the right word, but like, what was?
Ethical?
Ethical, yeah. So I didn't do it, and then
So,
I
like,
lost.
So in these heavy competition situations, like you would see, like especially where I was on the roads, like they would write the agent notes, do not submit letters. We're only looking at terms and prices, don't give a shit. But in this instance, she didn't put them. So that was to our benefit, and I just had her do anything. Yeah.
I guess it depends on the situation, right?
I mean, but then there's a one, and Anthony would be able to speak to this, is it, can you do
Go ahead, Josh. The simple answer is no.
it? It's not.
However, there's a way to get around this. So, especially with that situation, as soon as you said special needs,
Yeah.
I got terrified about fair housing.
Uh-huh.
But the way I would get around it is sending a video with my offer. That is there's no,
A video of.
so.
You
video
just someone making the
The client sends a video?
No,
Or-
you as the agent does. So if Ari's the listing agent on the property, I would go, hey, Ari, wanted to send over my offer and send an accompanying video. My client's super excited to get into the neighborhood. You know, they love the house, can't wait for my son to play in the backyard, swim in the swimming pool. Our offer is X, Y, Z. There is a little flexibility if that's something you're looking for. I just wanted to open up lines of communication. I look forward to hearing from you.
Right on.
And so it does a couple things. Most people don't do this, so one, it makes me stand out. Two, no one wants to read an email. Everyone wants to read a text. So my ugly face is in his text messages.
And burned in my brain.
Sorry, you're already there. But it means that there's already a relationship here without me having done much. I had an agent who owns 3 St. Bernards, y'all might know him, he's upstairs. He includes his dogs in the video and automatically. And it's genius, like everyone calls him back, like, can you tell me about the dogs?
Who should breed her? It's like, I'll tell you if
He's not breeding.
executed,
He's now breeding them.
yeah?
Yeah, so my point is, there's a lot more possible wins on that one. What you did was great. I have no beef with it, but to get around fair housing in a market where people like to report other agents.
Yeah.
I would do a video.
Fair point.
Good to know.
And I guess I'm gonna touch on it later, but part of similar to that, and I was gonna do this on the how little bit was like a listing agent, but I guess everything is tied together. With my offers, if I can't do a letter or won't do a letter, I always send an email, which maybe I'm gonna start recording myself. I don't know if that'll get deals, but
The barbell's working.
it's heavy lifting, my guy. But whenever I submit an offer, let's just make it as easy as possible for the listing agent. We're kind of jumping around the box, saying, wow, this is smaller group, we can discuss it. I want it to not be a wall of text, it's not gonna be just the text. The video is honestly almost conducive to this as well, but literally submit it with offer and highlights. It's how I submit every deal. Have them all packaged, organized, one folder, one attachment, not 8 different PDFs attached to an email. Literally just zip it into a folder, like those little things where the listing agents go through all of these. How does yours stand out? Okay, their offer was bulleted, highlights, key highlights, everything was there in one place. It's a quick text and a quick note on, my client's super excited. Reveal a little bit, like, yeah, we've been looking for a while, or hey, like there's another property that we would put an offer in, but we went a little above what we were typically looking for because we love the house so much. Like let them know a little bit into who you are. But saying out, I want to offer sometimes because they're like, you're just how you presented the offer, like the presentation of the offer. They were just like, yeah, you were just like short to the point. You called me, you explained everything. Like I could tell it's easy to work with you. You had your lender, I work with Tavani a lot. It's like, he gave me a call, just kind of explained the long and short of why this lead is good, even though we have another cash offer, why this deal isn't falling through. Inspections, information purposes only, or hey, we front loaded the seller system to avoid having to deal with repairs. Like let them know, use seller system as this is why it's not going to be a headache. If you give us the seller system up front, like we already know, like we're pretty much moving forward. We consider it practically an information only offer at that point, So just because it's technically 10 grand out of the seller's pocket does not mean you don't still use that credit to actually why your offer is much more confident in giving you the table. Hey, we know you worked with us. You already gave us, $10,000 of credit. We're letting you know we really appreciate that. And here's what we were worried about for inspection. Hey, we're really just worried about the roof, but with the 10K credit, we're already feeling good about it. Let's get to selling. Talk about selling. Let them know that you're focused on getting this done, easy peasy. Any other like multi-bid situations that stick out where you stood out when you didn't even have the best offer, you'd say?
For me, it was just waiving inspections. I think that was but one of the offers.
Well, you gotta be careful with that. So I just learned this the hard way, $10,000 HVAC repair, because I know everything and waived all my inspections in the house and staring down the barrel of 10K fix. But as long as your client is fully aware of the risks, right? And when you're doing a waived inspection, oftentimes you can actually just say like, for information purposes only, right? You're basically letting them know you're either in or out of inspection. You're not gonna ask them to repair anything. And you're not gonna ask for stuff assist. There's not even this because especially if it's not a ton of offers on the property, you have to escalate crazy. You have to ship. You're like, we're not going to off. Especially in today's market, where buyer leverage, in my opinion, is at the maximum, frankly. Obviously, this thing's on a base, so it's going to go no matter what the market is. But more or less, I'm saying, hey, we're going to do an information out. And if we see the report and we hate it, and we're like, we need, we're about this 12 grand, okay, 5 grand, that's actually legitimately worth complaining about. What I'll do is I'll call the agent. I'm like, hey, I know we said information only, but I got to tell you, like, we're kind of at crossroads here. Like we want to stick by our word. We don't want to ask for repairs, and your client already, because you talk to the listening. We know your client's already down in Florida. They don't want to deal with this. We want this to go through, but is there any way that we're going to terminate? Is there anything you can do to make us feel better about it? And more often than not, the seller, even though you wrote information else, is like, what if we just do a 5K credit? And you'll send a report too, you'll send their inspection report the same as you would. You just can't really be like, no, this is all up. You'll be like more passive. Hey, I know we said we wouldn't ask for anything, but we're back if we don't get something. Anything you can do, my clients on the edge. More often than not, sellers do that conflict like after market, days on market, splitting an inspection report. Yeah, sellers, 5K, 10K, whatever, point out what the real issue is. Yeah, this is might as well just be one slide, honestly, instead of going one by one, but we can jump back and forth, no problem. So the win for buyer is often exactly why they're working with you in the first place, especially my expertise, and literally all I do is open house leads. I'm not from Philadelphia, so they have to build on this somewhere. And my last job didn't want a cold call. Open house seemed like a pretty straightforward way to get in front of the people I'm serving. Also, everyone's interested in whether they're buying or kicking tires, they're inside the property because they're interested in the house. So win for the buyer is like the same way I get them to frankly make offers, We don't have to put an offer in, however, as if you put an offer in, it's something they accept. So let's focus on putting an offer in that you're excited they say yes to. Like that's it, oh, they just went on the market, like, oh, there's other bids, there's other offers, like, we're not gonna win this house. I'm like, all right, cool, but does this home accomplish the goals we have set out for you? On why you're buying a house in the first place, why you're spending an absorbent amount of money, like the biggest purchase ever. Like, let's just focus on why you're spending that money, what the goals are. So if you really locked in on the goals for your buyer, you're putting an offer in that accomplishes that goal just the same. They're like, we looked at comps all night, I think 525 is just too much, but I don't think 515 is gonna get it done. I'll often say, okay, well, if we put an offer in at 515, right, absolute max, accomplish your goals, you're excited, they say yes, right? If they tell us that they accepted an offer that was 520, will you be upset about it? If they say yeah, like, okay, and let's consider an escalation clause, that way you can kind of determine how much you're overspending by, right? And if they're not going to do that, if they're at 515 absolute maximum, this is a root of how you don't lose your leads. You just, it's the problem. Just say, okay, it's, hey, if they accept 515, I'll do that. We got it. That was establish your number. You said you wouldn't go another dollar higher. Guess what? We had to go that high. You won the deal. And if they accept at 516 offer, we established that you advise them that whatever their limit is, that's where we're willing to walk away and get a good buy ourselves. So that puts you in a position where the buyer's not hating you. They're not saying, well, what if we did more? You're going over what we even fully inspections is versus information only versus signing up for water termite run, like everything. It's like, look, what are we actually trying to accomplish here? Because we can just wait. We can waive everything except general inspection and still get a termite done at that inspection. We'll just back out of the deal if you don't like the doorknobs loose. But we'll still learn about the termite. We're going to just tell them it's because of the loose doorknob, not the termites, right? So building an attractive offer that puts your client's best interest at the forefront, but is also competitive, is the root of being a buyer agent. So little things like that. You don't have to waive. You can waive a lot more things while also accomplishing and putting your buyers in a position to protect themselves. Mortgage contingency, for example. A lot of agents will say, oh, like there's an appraisal contingency built into that. Hey, don't worry about it, we're spending, don't worry about that. But the reality is, if you're not actually electing for an appraisal contingency, the built-in one for the mortgage contingency says you have to make a legitimate effort to come up with that difference. So it's not just like, another appraisal, we can walk away scot-free. It literally says in here, so you have to make an active effort to make this work. It's still there, there's still protection there, and obviously talk to a lender to specifically point out where this line is. But at the end of the day, you need to understand every contingency you're electing and how that works with situational opportunities, not just, oh, I mark these contingencies, we're safe and sound, don't worry about inspection. Yeah. There's a lot of flexibility where your offer doesn't look complicated, it doesn't look like a headache, where you're actually still in a position to put your buyer's best interest in. So I guess anyone have just a quick story where your client genuinely thanked you, maybe it's the same situation for your, the story you're just telling, where a buyer was just like, holy crap, I did not think that you're gonna get this, I'm so excited, left you the best review. No one in this room has a good review, not one from those big line managers.
No, different one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, again, it was responsibility and we showed them a bunch of places and they zeroed them on one, they really liked it. And we put together a really ironclad offer and we came in over ask. And, yeah,
Right on.
I mean, just like, that they were, my buyers were super pumped and they were like ecstatic about it and, it was really good and, they referred me to a friend of theirs, who I'm currently helping.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know,
Has anyone won a multi-bid situation without it? That's okay. So this is almost where, again, we're doing a lot of tools that you can use in the agreement of sale. If you really want to know, have a 9-hour talk with Vicky Carey, we're going on YouTube, no one has the agreement of sale better than she does. First thing I did when I joined Keller Williams was watch those videos and met with Vicky.
She has videos.
On YouTube, literally, it's 9 hours. We make everyone who joins our team, it's required. Yeah, you're gonna be bored, yeah, we're gonna help people situationally and hold your hand. There's no more detail like what each line does to, it's tools, it's your bread and butter, you know what I mean?
I know, capitalize what I write on you're gonna sell you something.
Exactly. She'll scold you like a mother does, you'll never forget the lesson. Sticky, we're very lucky to have big people. It might be in the brokerage YouTube, not sure, I just haven't hyperlinked, we have a whole lot to check, so I can get it to you. But yeah, just on YouTube, they can carry agreement sale, there's 3 parts typically, each 3 hours. There's no better video to just kind of understand all the opportunities in the agreement of sale, you do to protect your clients, but also bring them on.
Agreed.
So like, again, we want to focus on obviously your client's best interest at all times. And sometimes they won't even know what their best interests are because you've been house hunting for 2 to 3 months, and they're just kind of like, what, exploit what you're saying. So you being the expert on explaining why your offers are as good as they can be, and why you're going to stand out if someone has the identical offer next to you. That's all you can really focus on. So just get good at what you have in front of you. You're not signing papers for clients. It's just understand what they're signing. Explain it to them. If they put an offer in you every single page, you talk. It's more work. Guess what? Client trusts you and actually understands what they're signing, which is a massive, massive contract that may be accepted. Then you're tied up. There's escalation clauses, there's contingency waiving, we've talked about that, there's appraisal gap coverage, there's built-in appraisal coverage that I've been really utilizing lately, that's won us deals and hasn't even kicked in, so my clients pay literally no more. If your client has at least 10% down, you can offer appraisal gap coverage without even changing your client's like monthly payment, maybe by $10 a month, you'll finance that PMI coverage if you're close to 20. There's a lot of tools, and you really learn that from talking to letters, talking to title, learn from Vicky, talk to me, talk to your team, whatever. But there's a billion ways you can fill out an agreement of sale. There's a billion ways you can submit an offer, whether it's a video, offer highlights, letter, you name it. You need to communicate with the listing agent to understand what will work best for that seller as best as you can. Goes back to communication. Moving on, cool. So what would we say is a win for a listing agent, besides the double back full cash? Kind of what we were, no?
Whatever your deal is.
That's really it. You want it to be clean, right there. This is how we do it. Here's my team. This is why it's gonna win. Make a listing agent. You can't talk to the seller. You're talking to the listing agent. You need them to pitch your clients. So it's not just about pitching your client to them, you're teaching a listing agent how to pitch their client. And if the listing agent is excited about your buyer, that's absolute win for them. Obviously, short days on market, double back cash, like those are the objective wins. Let's say you have a listing that's been sitting on the market for a while. I'm sure you've gotten 3 or 4 offers that are like 50% the value from investors calling, hey, it's a writing this offer up. You have to gently let your clients know that you got an offer because that's your job to do, but do not get too mad about it. This is just kind of what investors do sometimes. But I think that honestly is better than anything I was going to say.
I mean, sometimes you have to do their job for them,
Yeah.
and so not being afraid to do that, I think, is the key, and you have to be able to communicate that in a way where, hey, I'm absolutely willing to help you in any way I can, so X, Y, Z.
Yep. I want a buyer agent calling me and saying, what are the terms your seller wants? Like the things, obviously more money, but like what are the terms, the timelines? What are some key things that I saw that they bought this a year and a half ago, what's going on? Yeah, well, they bought it at a price and trying to do it. Okay, well then sooner the better, right? Like even if they won't objectively tell you, like, oh, well, this deadline, this, we need this, contingency, yada, yada, yada. Again, this is all about storytelling and communication. So just because someone doesn't tell you their budget, price, bed, bath, square footage, amenities, doesn't mean you can't discern that from conversations with them. You're communicating pretty between the lines. Same thing with the listing agent. Listing agent, I'm excited that this buyer agent is calling me. I'm excited that they're being upfront. I'm excited when they call me after they tour the home and they tell me kind of what's going on, where their mind's at. The answer to all this is really communication and understanding. But at the end of the day, if we're looking at 2 offers from a buyer agent, the one that's cash, or 20% down, if I haven't heard a peep out of that cash buyer and they're not upfront giving me the PFI or giving me a story or talking to me about it, they didn't leave feedback, just kind of submitted an offer out of the blue, versus the other people who are same price tag, one's cash, one's not. But I already know their lenders. I've received a call from them as ideal, but I give them a call to understand, who these buyers are, who's getting this loan. Oftentimes, that will lead the seller to choosing that 20% versus just the cash. Obviously, cash is king, shorter timeline could be the deal breaker. But if I just get an offer out of fucking nowhere versus someone who's genuinely communicating with me and making sure why the deal's going to get through, that's an easy pitch for me to the seller. Cash is too, but cash is short and cheap. Like, that's just like, hey, it's cash, take it or leave it. The other one is a partnership. It's a team that you're getting to sell it for. A little cheesy, I know, but at the end of the day, communication is really what this all falls down to. Don't be afraid to talk to the listing agent. They're on the job too. And do their job for us, maybe a little tip, yeah. It happens a lot, unfortunately. Cool, and then what's a win for the seller? Easy answer is the most amount of money, the least amount of contingencies, the shortest amount of time, but maybe no. Lease backs, right? Hey, we need to sell this home in order to buy, or hey, we have a purchase contingent on if we sell this. So for the seller, oftentimes they'll overlook certain terms as long as they're aware that that buyer is locked in, they've kind of come off as they really want this home, and this deal isn't gonna fall through. Also, the timeline will work with their schedule. Hey, you want a delayed settlement? Yeah, that'd be great, but we also need a place to live because we haven't even put an offer on another place. Okay, can my client do a lease back, post-back settlement to them? Like, can we run it out to you? Well, hey, let me explain to you, listing agent, to explain to your seller exactly what we're willing to do for it. And we're willing to rent it back to you for half the price. Like, hey, if you give us a seller assist, like, we'll give you cheap rent on it. It's all situational, but again, I always ask every listing agent before I put an offer, is there anything that would make our deal stand out? I honestly just straight up ask them, is there anything that we can do? And they always say more money. It's like, yeah. What can we do to make this stand out? Shorter timeline, delay timeline, escalation with 5K increments. Doesn't mean you have to do it. You go back to the buyer and say, hey, this is what I was told to make our offer stand. let's review the numbers, let's talk about that, is that something we're willing to do? We're here to be advisors and consultants, not to force anyone's hand to sign a paper. So as long as they understand the options that are before them, the pros and cons of each, you're gonna be ethical, you're gonna close business, and you are in fact going to be the best realtor that that person can hire, whether you're the listing agent or the buyer's agent. As long as they have understood every step of the way, and understand every paper they're signing, like that oftentimes earns you business. Like you mentioned, you talk to somebody in your house and their agent didn't even explain the documents, what they're about to sign, the process when approved. Oftentimes just the basics right there, to get your buyer excited or the seller excited, is just being the first person to actually like elaborate on what the hell they're signing, what they're getting into, steps, the timelines, what could go wrong, what your job is. Consumer notice is often an overlooked document, but at the end of the day, if you literally, if any agents actually did, that in the way they're supposed to meet someone, have them sign, this is not a contract, they don't have to sign something. But if you literally just explain what's on that sheet, what everyone's role is, you are the first person and only person to tell them that first. You stood out. You also, were buttoned up with the process, but you would also be yourself while explaining, hey, this is my role of buyer. If there's dual agency, it's because, we're looking at this listing. What that means is, again, explaining what everyone's role is, and then to go further before you put an offer in. I've been doing this, should have been doing it from the start, I recommend everyone in this room do it, but
We're all gonna start having to do it from August.
honestly, I think it's a good thing. I think that settles honestly a good thing. Can't take the heat out of the kitchen. There's way too many realtors, low barrier to entry. Anyone who's scared of that and hasn't sought out to understand that and is afraid to explain why we get paid and why we should get paid, what we're there to do. I don't think those people should be realtors anyways. The settlement, honestly, I think it's probably the best. The stupid part is not being able to list the commission on MLS and everywhere else. It's either like you can or you can. I think it's just a little bit of tedium for calling the listing agent, hey, what's the offer? Every seller, for the most part, is still going to offer buyer agency because you want more buyers to try. So it's like, I'm not worried about it. Team's not really worried about it. If you haven't had a conversation about it in detail, why, what the approach is, please reach out to the brokerage team, me, whoever. I'm personally not worried about that stuff whatsoever. I honestly think it'll kick out some owners who shouldn't be in this industry anyways, which is too many. So that's the four. Any ways that come to mind when we kind of just go through the slides? There's one more that's just going to be tools. You can ask questions if you're new, haven't used them, want collaboration, but any stories that come to mind for sellers? Once, twice. Cool. Well, again, short and sweet presentation. I'm always there to help. If you want collaboration, if you really want to work on what these tools can be used for, but contingencies, again, we talked about not waiving inspection, but for information only. While you're protecting your buyer, while also kind of leaving the door open, especially if they didn't have other offers, especially if you already, maxed out your seller assist. If you're competing with other people and you max out seller assist, you're almost better off just writing information purposes only, because what the hell else are you gonna ask for? You'll say, hey, if we can't drop this price down, we're walking away. We already know we got $20,000 saved off our closing costs. Escalation clauses. Does everyone know what an escalation clause is? Just want to be sure. Yeah, affirmative?
You can go around that.
Sure. So quickly, an escalation clause is a way for you to make sure that there are other offers that justify you going above, paying more. So hey, absolute maximum I'm willing to pay is $550, the listing price is $525. I'm gonna put in a $525 offer up to $550, and I will beat any other offer by $5,000, $2,500, $10,000, whatever the hell you decide your client's comfortable with. And then they have to prove that they have a legitimate signed buyer offer that escalates that value of your contract. So I wrote an escalation clause because the agent won't say names, but was kind of full of shit entirely. They're like, oh, we have like other offers, like if you go up to your max escalation price, we'll accept your offer. Yeah, sure. No, the escalation is as good as gold. Like we are willing to pay $2,500 more than the next best offer that you can prove to us within this range, within these terms that maintains the LTV and this, it's a hold on. So definitely great tool to have, especially in a competitive market. And then they got back and they're like, all right, cool, we accept your offer. I'm like, oh, any escalation? They're like, no. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you would have accepted the one at max escalation. But it's just it's a way for your buyer to be like, I'm not overpaying. Because if that kicked in and we end up having to spend $530, it's like, okay, well, you overpaid by $2,500, but that's also how you want the deal, So it's just a way to kind of hedge your bet a little bit and come out to your absolute maximum what you're willing to spend, but also maybe get a deal on what you're willing to spend. Say it only caps on $540. Great, you're willing to spend $550. That's a win for your buyer. You're like, hey, $10K we could spend in finance, but we didn't because we used the escalation cost. Respec, it's kind of like what I said earlier. If you don't want to respec, then it's basically saying, hey, we're going to buy a place from you and we'll back to you. It's not indefinite, especially if you're moving into a primary residence, that you can still do a lease back, but it needs to be pretty buttoned up. You can say, hey, we're willing to rent it to you, I think, 3 months, I think is the maximum. I think it's like 90 days or whatever. You can basically say, hey, here's what I'm like, that's something. It's like, oh, you're my tenant now, but with the intention of you only have like 3 months or 90 days, or with the intention of, hey, you need a place to live while you're going to shop. Some people need to sell before they buy. This is a way for you to say, hey, seller, like we're willing to rent it to you. We're not in a rush. We're actually ahead of the curve. Their lease is up for another 5 months, So this actually helps the buyer as well as the seller. So again, these are win-win opportunities.
Are these separate documents or are these something you put in additional terms?
No, I mean, they're separate documents. Yeah, on the agreement of sale, you would like mark it down on the last page. But these are all separate tools that can make your offer stand out and you can win multiple offer situations. So appraisal down. Huge advantage to doing this. Shows good faith. It kind of secures in the seller's mind, hey, we're getting this money. But it's also not necessarily even a negative to your buyer. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're in the double digits of a down payment, say you're at 10%, and you're in the suburbs and there's multiple offers and you're like, fuck, like we have to go over like asking price, but it's worth it for your buyer, and they have a little bit of extra cash. Well, if you're at like a 10% down payment, especially if 20% down payment, PMI trigger, you can actually build in appraisal gap coverage and finance. So, for example, I just did one. Let's say 490, we're on 520. And my clients, because we were doing their first time home buyers, we were willing to, they couldn't get up to 20% to save on PMI and monthly payment. They're like, honestly, we plan on refinancing in the next 5 years. I'm like, hey, cool, no promises, but let's work with what we got. So we built in at 10%. Hey, we're willing to pay up to that 520 we're offering, like cash, as long as it appraises at 490. That's what an appraisal gap is. Hey, we're willing to cover the difference there. Like, it won't be a problem. And we didn't win that deal because it was way underpriced. They got deals. Anyways, no one's perfect. Point being though is their monthly payment changed by maybe $10 a month, and they were able to show like, hey, we're willing to finance not $10, but we're willing to finance that to make sure, even if the price is at $499, hey, we're covering that 20 grand. Or if it appraised at 480, hey, let's revisit the table. The property isn't worth that much. The gist is you can build it into your mortgage, especially if you're in double digits. Highly recommend you talk to your lender about that. Like, it doesn't need to change the money at all. You can opt for an appraisal gap if they're at like 10% or more down payment. Huge advantage. Doesn't even change the pricing really for your clients. You stand out and you're telling the seller how serious you are. Or if they have cash and they're at a minimum down payment, still just offer an appraisal gap coverage. Yeah, we were going to spend the extra 20 grand anyways on getting $100 off a month. I'd rather spend that 20 grand covering appraisal so I can secure this home. Dependent on the buyer, everything here is situational. Again, use that to your advantage. It doesn't have to be a deal breaker, bank breaker. Your clients, timelines we kind of touched on. Talk to the listing agent and ask them like, when would your seller like settlement to me? Hey, like, we plan on getting inspection done like ASAP, you know, like to show that we're like, we don't want to take your property off the market too long, you know. You're being courteous to the seller, like you're letting them know, like, hey, if this can't work, we're gonna get out. We want this to be smooth and easy. So show them the inspection contingency. Like if you know you can get the inspection done, like way faster than that, and you prep your client, like, hey, this is what's gonna be on inspection, there's gonna be 30 items, you're not gonna like any of the drops to tell you why it's shit. However, make sure your clients go to the inspection so that they're not sifting through a 30 item, 40 item list of, oh my God, the house is falling apart. I make damn sure my clients, we almost don't do inspection unless they can make it to the inspection, because inspectors have to cover this. They have to say, yes, this is technically a safety thing. Yes, this is something that needs urgent replacement. When you're actually there, ask them, hey, did you buy this place? Do you think it's safe? Yeah. Like, do you think that's a problem? Yeah, no, I mean, I probably put some doc in it for like 4 years and then maybe remediate it. But the report's gonna be much scarier than the actual reality. So wait for you to shorten that inspection, you're gonna tell the seller why you're doing it, we just wanna be good to you. Reality is you don't need that long if you prep them properly and they're at the inspection, because then you don't have to go explain 30 items. You can point out that, hey, here are the 5 items that, you know, John actually told us to focus on. Like, let's work on those 5 items instead of these 25 that are literally not an issue. If they don't show up to inspection and they just see that laundry list, especially if you didn't prep them, every house is falling apart, they'll never buy it. They will literally never buy anything. If you just let them have the inspection report and you don't explain anything, no one will ever buy a house. And already talked about a little bit like presentation. It's almost like the saying, you know, punctuality is the skill that doesn't need to be taught. Kind of, it's like if you're going to send an offer, instead of those 12 PDFs, make it one folder, organize it. You're going to do an offer highlights email or a video. Don't just rant and rant like I always do. Like, make it short, sweet, to the point, explain it, offer highlights, down payment, seller assist, this is what it is. Don't just say percentages like percentage, how much cash? This percentage, how much cash? Timeline, here's the date. Like, just you put in a little bit of extra effort to make it as easy for them to, again, present to their sellers. That will help you stand out and oftentimes win a deal, especially if there's an identical offer that you're competing with. So again, wanted this to be short and sweet. I have had ones like less people, kind of just a bit more engaging. I'm here to help, but again, if you're on a team, you can please review all of this with your team leaders, get maybe more specific examples. I'm here to help again, Ari Silverman, a big shit at you. This is when you roar some applause. Okay. I appreciate you guys coming.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you.
How long has everyone been in the business at this point? I'm going on year 5. You said you just finished a year? Right. Cool.
Same thing, a year and like a couple months ago.
Right on. Okay. Yeah. Welcome aboard. It's hell. No, it's not. It's not too far from sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just I guess advice would be the entire year going to get business is if you ask to go out of business. It seems really obvious, but people sit on the sidelines, they don't put themselves in a position and overhear a conversation. Don't make that ask, and above all, they don't ask for help. Especially on our team, we make it a point not to, chase people down to offer help. It's one of the lessons we're giving is literally like, if you can't realize there's a problem, and you can't approach us about a problem, that's almost a lesson in and of itself. Like, we explain that we need to come after this. Not my job is also being chased around, cold calls and new KPIs. Like, it's not this job, it's not the way I think it should be. I think it should be excited about it. Cool.
Love it.
Love it. If you're still on Zoom, I don't know, trust her. All right, guys, hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend. See you at the beach.
Thank you.
Or open houses, I got a listing in Green Village, I got a 600K buyer. There are the school counts we get parking. Next Zoom, they don't got a Green Village, man. All right, very well, done everything for afterwards.
No.
Got any other agents who are gonna sign up to come and then just never come? Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, about half,
Huh?
about half.
She was supposed to come meet up, and then.
Is that Augusta?
Yeah.
She ditched you?
No, like I reached out to her, she was like, yeah, I can't wait to meet the team, like we set up everything Tuesday, so yeah, come in Tuesday, meet the whole team and all that. And then she just like responded like, hey, I've moved in a different direction, and we were like, okay, like we didn't really hear our direction, but you know, I wish you luck. Okay.
I haven't talked to her since Memorial, but I'll find out.
It was literally just a while there.
Yeah.
I was in Cape.
I don't even need to talk to her since practice, I had no idea.
Yeah.
You're a kick on?
Yeah, at the house there. It's amazing.
I was there one time, and I was 19, so
I'm there
appreciate it.
every other weekend.
Who's working your houses?
What do you mean? I don't list anymore. Feelings.
I'm so sick of listings. I hate them. I hate them. I know it's like listings lead, like leverage, yada, yada, but business doesn't work without listings.
Until they go under contract and then you love
I had 2 go into contract this weekend and I still just hate it. I'm supposed to.
Cute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jeff, what's up, my guy?
About to go in, Google Crashers team coaching, whatever,
What I did?
the huddle with Joe.
Oh, you about to get on the Joe?
Yeah. about to do it.
So today is your team or everyone?
My team,
Today is your team, exactly.
Forgot what time mine is.
Who's waiting right now?
who,
Who's waiting right now?
I don't know about the, let you know, hold on.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Okay. So, they came in and, they came to the warehouse thinking it was for rent, but the condo was for sale. They weren't looking to buy just yet. So, they were working with a realtor, they should pretty much finding, property side of them. So, tomorrow, before we say, I was able to give them a tour location of community. About 10. They said on about 4, so we're going forward with, amplification. Nice. Yeah, it was fast. Yeah, it was really cool. They had been, my open house, was a little slow, but the winner was, I got one client.
That's good. That's good. That's what happens, right? It's like the activity is up and doing things.
Yeah.
The deals just start happening, but it's just have to keep the activity up, and it's not always like what you're like. People are like, oh, let's do open houses. Or like, anything. Yeah, we like your activities up, talking to people, you're talking to neighbors, meeting people. Like it's just it just happens. So that's awesome. Yeah, I see the birthday boys showing this year.
Yeah, what's going on? Appreciate y'all, thank you, Joe.
It's it might be, I don't. So do you guys know what goes on, even when you sign on to things? Jeffrey's daughter, wants to record the conversation, all 3 of you signed on, saying, I want to. The meeting, so I did like, whatever I got. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's, Joe, I just started, I don't know, when you send me the invites, that comes along with that, the out. Yeah, so that's probably why.
I was So I think it's gonna be the two of us today. I'm gonna try to keep these for a half hour. And so it's real quick, so perspective, so it's not still so we say, we're gonna end this season, the end of this week, kind of finish up things. We'll pressure those, so. I'm gonna try for second place, basically. The main event is in first place, if they win this week, and no, right now they're winning. If they win this week, and for some reason, we're real. Not sure how, but they're kind of in there. If they don't win, then all of us keep matching through, fighting for really all two ways. So all of you guys, hold on for a bit and talk about like sort of finish. Sure, it's high season or something. Those things you see out there, that would still be, you know, fun to win right now. Right now, the score is, you guys are losing 226-2. Yeah, let's.
I put some, kind of posted my conversation today, so what is that day you got to see everything planning, and?
That, or just,
Yeah, this conversation today. Bye.
Hey, so,
I have a question. Now, when we're logging conversations, I probably should a while ago. Are we logging? We're logging people that we actually talk to.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so people read text, so it's text, phone calls, it could be a DM on social media. But as long as there's something, if I send a text to somebody.
A two-way conversation, in other words, right?
Two-way conversation.
Right.
Yeah. So there's, you know, kind of, a problem with, so we gotta look at a house, something like that. Anything like that, we can block that into text. But as far as today, it's probably how we start this conversation. For the next season is instead of going through like, okay, the conversations we have, so instead of focusing on that, we're gonna talk more about like your pipeline. Right, so we probably get into next season, more details on like how many closings do I have this year, as like a future goal, and I have to look back, I should probably have them for you guys. Worksheets, particularly like how many closings you have, and then kind of talk through, okay, now, yeah, so far. Okay, so we're like, I'll target, I'll target, and then once your pipeline look like for the rest of the year. You know, like I may be working with 5 buyers right now. Yeah, 2 or 3 of them are probably gonna slip down. So, right, so I'm have a pretty good pipeline, so if I'm, if I wanna close 5 more deals this year, I'm probably gonna need to have like 25, 30 people in the pipeline. Like actively connected with, they may not be like all active, but you're not sure the whole house is right away. But they're all like engaged and like return calls. So I guess I know today we can really like, I don't keep it on track of it, but just in general, that's what's to do. Yeah, right. This too, so, but, Jeffrey, how do you feel about like, there's no partners first, like, closings you were shooting for,
So I was shooting, which is crazy. I think we did this already, Joe. I was shooting for 3 before my birthday, but I got 2 in the work right now, so I'm kind of not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two.
So I got a rental that, I got a rental Saturday that I'm about to go get the key. And, somebody want to purchase, but I'm talking to Brendan about the pre-approval, because the pre-approval had expired the 24th. So I'm getting an extension or whatever, and I was trying to do 3 for my birthday, I got 2, I'm not happy. I'm happy, very happy.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. So what are you trying to shoot for the entire year?
So maybe we got like 6 more months.
Yeah, I'm sitting there New Year's Eve, popping champagne. Probably close to the one. Even with the, you guys would shoot. High.
The 3 to 6, 3 to 6,
Three six?
3 to 6.
Okay. Well, what do you think you can do, keep building the pipeline?
Relationship. I need to be consistent in having a relationship, not say consistent about a relationship, but just keep on, calling them every 2 weeks or every month. In other words, and, have some kind of value to give them.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do.
So if you want to have 3 to 6, let's call it 5. And, I'd say, I don't know, but I would say at least, we're trying to come up with the first for this, but I would say if you have 5 leads, you'll probably close one of the 5 leads before the end of the year. I think some are faster than others.
Right.
So if you want to get 5 closings by the end of the year, that's eventually we'll be working with 25 leads.
That's cool with me. In other words, I was
Just gotta keep filling that funnel. So what's been working for you so far?
What's been working for me?
How you get your current items?
So again, friends, families, referrals, stuff like that. And then being consistent, I'm not think I'm being consistent on social media, but other people telling me I'm doing good and stuff like that, so I guess they see me on social media and stuff like that.
We're actually gonna do, I think next Wednesday, we're gonna do a workshop on social media. It's just super easy. I feel like we have overthink social media all the time. We get pros and cons. We're doing this review, let's film this, do this, and it's just like, hey, here are 5 things, super simple, but people don't want to be on camera, and also that you can be on camera today. There's easy things to do, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, that's cool.
Coming up. So you're working this year. You're still doing open house?
Yes, I'm still doing open house, I still pull my expires.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good, man. Good, and I know that your numbers have been consistent.
I'm trying.
Do this entire league, at least numbers every week. Okay, so the people at the top, all the big numbers. Jeffrey V, always at the top.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm trying.
It's good, man. It's good activities there and people looking at me. It's let's not, it's gratification. It's not like, we make 10 calls, I give you $1 million listing. It's like, you gotta go through a lot of these things.
Yeah, it's not an overnight thing, it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Really patience.
I mean, we've been doing this league for 2.5 months or something like that. I wouldn't say it. 3 months out, he's like, you should start seeing things. Okay. These are stuff. Yeah. So it's awesome, man.
Right.
Tiana, did you have goals for the year? I can't say what we have right now. Did you have that company closing that you were going to shoot for this year? That's okay.
At least one. It's fun. That's all I got. I'm just trying to get my feet wet, doing everything I can, getting my experience how I can. I know today when I was at office, everybody just was like, try some open houses, so I'm gonna do that. More than what I've done, because I've only done two. I was a little nervous. But after I did the two and I was able to get a feel for it, I do feel a little bit more comfortable. Today I did end up blocking out my calendar for a week for lead generation. So I've been doing it for about 2.5 hours. And I didn't get any sellers on the line, but I did get some agents that had properties available for rent. So obviously those to the renters that I have right now. I have about 5 that I'm looking to help move. And then that's pretty much it. Everybody else I text, I'm waiting for them to text me back.
Okay, so who are you reaching out to when you're lead chatting instead?
So I did.
So guys,
I did. I did.
what we got to see?
What's going on?
I'm sorry. I went through some expired last month, so I checked right to see what listing were canceled and expired. And I gave them two spots to figure out to see if they were just reaching out to get my number or if they were actually trying to sell, buy, fast, or rent. So that's what I need to do. I guess I'm good marketing because I feel like I can sell my clothes better in person. I still like to get the hang of selling my clothes. So I just have to finish practicing over the phone scripts and definitely do more with trade. I like going outside, giving my card out this morning. Me and my mom went for a short walk, and I was giving my business card out and letting them know I just became a realtor and I'm in Keller Williams main line. So just for piece to the name and the voice.
Yeah, nice. How are the expires?
They suck.
That's like eat your vegetables and go to the gym. Like, good time we can sell it. Good for you.
It was okay. It was okay, but I'm waiting for people to get into me. I just said I lied to. So just waiting for people to get that. I guess to start that two-way conversation versus it being one way. But not too bad. I guess that's.
What the expires for you was the text expires?
I was calling, and if they didn't answer, I was sending a text.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Any good responses yet?
I had one person wanting to follow it by at some agents that were that had properties for rent. So the renters, I'm gonna try to hook them up together to see if we can work something out. But nothing yet. Nothing.
Did you nobody cursed you out?
One lady did, but I think that's because I called her the wrong name. Yeah, she said she changed her name, but I don't know how it's supposed to do it. So, whatever.
Yeah,
It wasn't so big.
if someone else is someone for that.
You are,
I mean, it's not going.
you are officially a realtor now.
Changed her name, like, this didn't come up. I didn't know. So.
Yeah. those things come up, sometimes you call and it's, they get the brothers or the sisters number. Like,
Yeah.
I was, I'm like, why am I talking to my brother? This isn't Jeffrey, no, this is Jeffrey, this is Joe, brother. Why you calling Jeffrey? Here. So that, you get it.
Yeah.
That's like, you always say that all this stuff, it's the first game, so it's just. The people who are doing fires that are really high pool out there, do
Yeah.
everything, hours and hours, 400, 500 calls. Eventually, yeah, some people, if you're making that many calls, you're gonna get, like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get somebody that's gonna be like, wow, it's funny that you called, like, I still need to sell my house, the last person could do it, come on over and show me what you can do, like, it's gonna happen. And they don't want to, calls.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they were just, black scripts, trying to guide the conversation and asking questions. Yeah, so it sounds like you're using the expired scripts.
Yes.
Good.
But it worked out for people that I did talk to, but yeah, it ain't really hard because again, they bring it in like class something or I figure something else out or actually I'm renting the property out. With better that there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow.
But if I have a conversation with someone that's expired and it's really that, it's their property, and they, for whatever reason, I just can't get. So, appointment with me, they get rid of my phone. Or something, and they call them back, whatever. Yeah, they're like, oh, something crazy's happened, like, trying to give these people, like, have to make them chill out. Back, connection, I can't see them, like, away, I just thought, I'll drop the ball back, and it's so funny, over expires, like, changes, right? According when their place gets expired, and got realtors calling that they're agitated, the place just didn't, it didn't sell, yet that was yesterday, the realtor had to tell them I did a crappy job, things expired, and they're just like, I don't hear any of this, and like 3 weeks later, different day, and you never know, never gonna catch it. Some people say, like, yeah, it's a crappy experience, something has to. And then I lived in the house for 3 more weeks. I'm like, well, 5 kids, 2 bedrooms, this still isn't working, so I gotta sell this house. And I said, people that are motivated, they're gonna come around. It's just like, to reach out. Just like this happened. That was one of my house follow-ups. I followed up with them a few times when I first met them, and it just dropped them. I was like, nah, I think they're interested in me. And I waited around for 6 months, and I was like, the other day, I'm gonna go through every open house league I've ever been, shoot a text, and I would have, you should reach out, just bought a house in Lubbock, that's straight happiness. So whether agent reached out and saying that now they probably like, this nice guy, I'll think for his name, I'll touch started or whoever the next real was called. And they're like, yeah, that was my house. He's typically, yeah, you guys both doing the right stuff. Just gotta
Keep it up.
finding out those numbers. Yeah, but if there's numbers in demand for this week, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you guys could sneak in and take this entire league. Who's looking at that?
Oh, yeah, we gonna do that. We take it back.
Yeah. So that's playing Jamie's team. Connection. So those guys are exploiting. So if Jamie's team decides they want to exploit an extra days, main event squeezes a loss, you guys squeeze a win. I don't know, that means it's going to finish.
Yeah.
Anyway. Guys, anything else going on? No. All right, guys. Keep up the good work, proud of it. Just want to say that you're every got so many ideas or role play or practice. I'm here.
Thank you, appreciate you, Joe.
I appreciate you guys.
Oh,